At a time where much is being said and discussed and debated about the children who've been left orphans because of COVID, a new report has come by UNICEF that also talks about how more children are being pushed into child labor due to the pandemic. In fact, we've registered a rise for the first time in 2 decades on a global basis. On the occasion of the World Day Against Child Labor, I spoke to Kailash Satyarthi, and I also asked him about the state of the childcare shelters in our country specifically. In many instances, there have been so many controversies. So I asked him if he believes we are not focusing enough on these shelters. Listen in.
That's why I said that the first preference should be the rehabilitation and care in homely situations with the family or extended family, and these child care institutions should be the last option. We cannot generalize that every child care center run by the government is awful. That can happen with some NGO run centers as well as some government centers. But I would emphasize more on the rehabilitation inside the families, inside the homes.
No, that's fair. That's fair that it can happen in any centers. And obviously,
but to take take the challenge and be prepared for any such situation, I have requested to the Prime Minister Modi ji in a letter last month, and requested him that he should set up a high-level expert task force, and that task force should examine that what are the multidimensional impact of pandemic on children, and what new challenges will emerge in the coming days and years. So the experts from health and mental health, experts from child protection, education should be brought into that task force, and they should give a report which should be directly taken by the Prime Minister, and then some concrete plan of action could be worked out on the basis of that. So we cannot simply leave this serious challenge to locals or to private sector or local institutions. That's a national crisis, I would say, and that crisis of future of children should be handled with the utmost care.
No, I do hope that the government takes up this suggestion that you've made, Mr. Satyarthi, of forming a task force, because the center needs to lead this with a concrete strategy and then involve all the stakeholders. We do need at this point a swift, concrete, centralized strategy, isn't it?
One more thing, if it is not we knew that child labor, lack of education, and the poverty makes a vicious circle, these three things. But now, during this pandemic and after the pandemic, we have realized that health is also another component. We cannot ignore the child's health in this whole paradigm. When we talk of child care or child development, then education, health, protection, and poverty alleviation have to go hand in hand. And when we are talking about the help and so many health and so many children have become orphans, or in the future this should not be repeated, then I have urged the Prime Minister in another letter, and a similar letter I have written to every single Parliament member, and demanded that health should be made fundamental right. We should amend the Constitution. This is the right time when the people lost hope in the present health system, and to protect children and their parents in the future, we have to take this bold stand, rising above the party politics, and amend Constitution, making health as fundamental right, as we have seen in case of education. When education became the fundamental right in last 15 years, we have made remarkable progress in the field of education. in comparison to, say, 90s or until early 2000. So I demand for health to become a fundamental right.